Self-care and self-love is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift we have, the gift we are put on earth to offer others. Anytime we listen to our true selves and give the care that it requires, we do so not only for ourselves, but for the many others whose lives we touch. This wisdom and insight is from Parker Palmer.
Good morning. My name's Sharon Davis. I'm your worship associate this morning, and we're lucky this morning to have the Reverend Terra Collier as our lead today. Reverend Terra is called to community, and she has created a community ministry she named 5 Seeds Ministry. The metaphorical seeds are tending grief, dance as a spiritual practice, artistic and somatic insights, communication and justice for all, and celebrations that honor life and death. Terra is also co-president for the UU Society for Community Ministries and is a good officer for this professional UU organization. She lives in Santa Cruz County amid the redwoods with her beloved husband, Scott, tuxedo kitty Violet, and 7 happy egg-laying chickens. Today, Reverend Terra is going to talk about the value of care in our community. When I was going through a difficult time in my life, a member of the Pastoral Associates Community Committee called me every week to check on me. I really looked forward to those calls as a time when I could vent about my frustrations and have someone listen to me with no judgment or ulterior motive. Having someone care enough to make sure I was okay and having a listening ear were really important to my emotional well-being. Eventually, after I was doing better, I joined the Pastoral Associates and I began to reach out to other members. The current Encouragement Committee is the outgrowth of that Pastoral Associates Committee. The goal of the Encouragement Committee is to reach out, to let those in need know we care. We believe that no member of our congregation needs to feel alone. Don Ramey, who's one of our members who have exceptional artistic skills, helped us design a new brochure that's available at the back of the sanctuary on the welcome table. Now, you may be wondering what you can do as a member of MPUUC to care more for those in our community. You might consider joining the Encouragement Committee as one of our members. Another way to help is to look at the Week on the Peak newsletter, which comes out every Wednesday evening. In there is a section called the Circle of Life. And if you click on the link, it brings you to a Google sheet where we keep track of the joys and concerns voiced by congregants. Every person who voices a joy or concern during the service is emailed by a member of the Encouragement Committee and told that we care, and also asked if it's okay to include their joy or concern in the Circle of Life. If you have a few minutes, you can read about someone that you would like to let know that you care. Give them a call, an email, a text, send a card in the mail. Every time we reach out to each other, we increase the love and connection between ourselves. And now we will move into our chalice lighting. We get our slide up. No slide? Okay. Oh, that's right, no slide. Yes. Sorry about that. Let us light the chalice this morning with the words from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by the spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
Sorry about that. Good morning, friends, beloved community. Welcome to Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Jay Steele. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm a member of the board, your fearless treasurer. We are so glad you've joined us this morning. I'm going to start out by highlighting some current announcements. This is the big one. Today is the last day to turn in your pledges before our beloved Julie Ganslin starts making those annoying phone calls that you love to avoid. Please go online immediately after the service or give John your pledge. We are at 94% of our financial goal and have met our matching fund requirements. Yoo-hoo! But there are still 16 folks we need to hear from. We all appreciate your commitment to our amazing community. It was slightly with mixed feelings that I'm saying you'll get a call from Julie Ganslin, because normally I'd be excited to get a call from Julie. But anyway, this could be annoying if she calls. The Ministers' Midweek Discussion Group meets on Thursdays at 10. This week, Reverend Greg will be away, but our topic will explore the value of care, following today's theme. On 4 consecutive Wednesday evenings, starting April 24th at 6:30, we will hold a book discussion group for Mistakes and Miracles, written by Reverend Nancy Palmer Jones of the San Jose congregation and Karen Lynn, who used to be part of our congregation. This will be facilitated by our ARO team. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., members of our neighboring congregation, our Friendly Methodists, get together to play some ping pong, and we're invited. I believe it's just right down there at rooms 4 and 5. That's Tuesdays at 11. And there's going to be a men's fellowship coffee time Friday, April 5th. Wait a minute, already passed, never mind. And please silence your electronic devices. Unitarian Universalism is a radically inclusive, doctrinal, non-dogmatic, open-minded and open-hearted faith. We are people who are coming at truth from different paths. We gather together across different identities, experiences, and beliefs to affirm and promote the inherent worth of every person. Together we see our job is to love the hate out of this world, heal the hurt in ourselves and one another, and be the change we'd like to see in the world. If you're our guest for the first time, we welcome you. We use chat in Zoom or a book near the welcome table to share joys and concerns. Actually, that book over there, to share by John. That book, Joys and Concerns, and also chat on Zoom to share joys and concerns, personal milestones of importance, which will be read aloud in the service. We also have social hour after the service where we get to visit with one another in breakout rooms on Zoom or on the patio. The worship host, my friend Eric, will give you more information about the Zoom chat rooms after the service. If you're here in person for the first time, please sign up on the welcome table there to receive a newsletter. Finally, make sure your mobile devices are silenced. We are so glad to be together today. Thank you all for coming. Let's end by asking everybody in Zoomlandia and everybody in Cole Hall here to wave to one another and feel the joy of being part of one large beloved community. Welcome and thank you to our members and friends near and far. Hello. And I'm excited to see Eric with us. Yay.
So our time for all ages is going to be something a little different, something experiential and somatic. How many of you have heard of dances of universal peace? Okay, well, I got one. I have a plant in the audience. So, well, 2 weeks ago, I had the delight and good graces to be with Reverend Greg at a minister's retreat. And one of the worship components that I offered was a dance of universal peace. And something that Unitarian Universalism and our ministries are striving toward is to have a more embodied experience. And so he suggested that I bring it to your congregation this morning. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of what it means. I'll teach you a song, very simple song. And then I will teach you some dance movements, very simple dance movements. And this is why we have set up the sanctuary so that there is room right here in the middle. And of course, this is invitational, as you are willing and able, where your comfort lies. And we'll just make it work, and it might be a little chaotic, but that can be really fun as well. So the lyrics will be up on a slide, and I'll teach you the song. I'll sing it through one time, and then I will do the call and echo of the line by line. So it goes like this. When I see thy glorious vision, I am filled with ecstasy, beloved. Waves move through my heart, and my heart becomes the sea. Pretty simple. So I'll start with the first verse, first line. When I see thy glorious vision, when I see thy glorious vision, I am filled with ecstasy. I am filled with ecstasy. there's a hold on that. So, beloved, waves move through my heart. Waves move through my heart, and my heart becomes the sea. And my heart becomes the sea. So let's all sing it together a couple of times. When I see thy glorious vision, I am filled with ecstasy. Beloved, waves move through my heart, and my heart becomes the sea. When I see thy glorious vision, I am filled with ecstasy. Beloved, waves move through my heart, and my heart becomes the sea. All right, so I'm going to teach you the dance moves. Anybody who would like to come forward? We're going to gather right here in the center. Let's create a circle. And just be kind of elbow to elbow. We're just going to be in front of the altar. So that we're close that. So now we're going to have, we're going to pair up. So you two would face each other. You two face each other. You two, and you two. Okay. So come in. Let's be close
we take up a collection on Sundays for the simple reason that our purpose in gathering is for more than ourselves. We want to make sure that the ministries that we need, the ones that infuse worth and dignity into our children, our youth, our programs of learning and leadership, and our ministries of anti-oppression and our work in the larger world are in place to meet the needs of others. We hope you will make a contribution toward these worthy causes by mailing your check to Mission Peak UU congregation at the address on the screen. You can also use the bill pay option in your online banking or drop your check to the Mission Peak mail slot, which is in the office down that direction, or pay online with credit or debit card. Thank you for supporting and sustaining the efforts of our members, friends, and staff. Your contributions make loving, learning, and leadership more possible. And as I forgot to mention on the first part, I'm the other worship associate, Drew Wilson. It's a dynamic duo of worship associates today. One of the things that allows us to find hope and meaning, especially in the hard times, is the love and support we show each other. If you have a joy or concern that by sharing with this caring community might bring the encouragement or resilience you are needing, please write it briefly now in the chat. Please write briefly your name and whether your sharing is a joy or concern. If you are here in person, there is a little book over near the welcome table that you can write as clearly as you can so I can read it, and would like to place where you can write your joys or concerns. And whether you do that or not, you can also come up and place a stone in the stone garden we're creating here for joys and concerns while the music plays. If your need is personal, you can also send an email to our minister for a follow-up conversation. Oh, and one last stone. For the hopes and hurts still too tender to escape our heart, may, for the sake of love, may we keep our doors, our hearts, our minds, and our arms open.
This poem is by Jan Richardson, titled, "Beloved is Where We Begin." If you would enter into the wilderness, do not begin without a blessing. Do not leave without hearing you are beloved. By the name named by the one who has traveled this path before you. Do not go without letting it echo in your ears. And if you find it hard to let it in your heart, do not despair. That is what this journey is for. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from danger, from fear, from hunger or thirst, from scorching of the sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path there will be help. I can tell you that there is and will be rest. And I can tell you that you will know some strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other reason than to lean themselves toward our ear with their curious insistence and whisper our name, beloved, beloved, beloved. that was lovely. Thank you. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. This is called a metta prayer, a Buddhist prayer with a strong wish for the welfare and happiness of others. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said, "My religion is simple. My religion is kindness." And another Buddhist quote that I like very much says, "For happiness, cherish others." As I understand it, pretty much every religion has some form of the golden rule: do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And then there's the platinum rule: do unto others as others would have you do unto them. It's a little twist right there. I think most people do the best they can with these rules most of the time. It's like common courtesy. And of course, that begs the question of whose idea of common and courtesy means. But for this service, let's just assume that we all kind of have a similar understanding of that term. Some say that these courtesies are the hallmark of civilization, and I would agree. For one to defer to the well-being of another is an action that reflects compassion and choice. It is essentially a decision to give one's own energy for the benefit of another. And this can be mutually benefiting, sure, like the win-win situation. So it's not always entirely altruistic, but there is a measure of altruism in it all the same. So in my studies, I learned that Margaret Mead, celebrated anthropologist of the 20th century, was asked by a student, "What is the earliest sign of civilization?" She thought for a moment and answered, "A healed femur bone." Now, this took me aback. I did not see that coming. I expected something else entirely. But Margaret concluded helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts. So apparently there was a time in human history when it was beyond our ancestors' capacity to care for the burden of a person with such a severe injury. And as we evolved, we became committed to the community to give it strength and resources. We developed with that intelligence and ingenuity and skills in order to dedicate the time needed to aid an individual in their healing. So I'm going to shift a little bit and tell you a story of something my mother said. She had embarked upon the exercise of writing her trust and will with an accountant, carefully itemizing and tallying up the dollar value of her assets. When it was complete, she was so excited, and she called in earnest on the phone and said, "I'm worth $1 million. Now, I actually don't remember how much money Mom said, but $1 million is a lot of money, and it makes a good point for this story. She was so pleased with this information. Mom liked the idea of having such riches and saw that her life was successful by this correlation and that she had personal value. And then I got to thinking, my mother's value is not in dollars and cents or assets added up by an accountant, even if that accountant was my beloved Uncle David. There was no dollar amount that could possibly indicate the value of my mother. She was precious and invaluable. And that story got me to thinking, is this a matter of economics and our cultural deference to valuing things through money? So as I composed this message, I was not entirely sure. So I decided to Google economics. And I found this definition as presented by the Arts and Sciences Department of University Buffalo, New York. Economics is, and I quote, a social science with stakes in many other fields, including political science, geography, mathematics, sociology, psychology, engineering, law, medicine, and business. The central quest of economics is to determine the most logical and effective use of resources to meet private and social goals. Well, that pretty much covers a lot of human endeavors, but it is not complete. And here's a little twist for you. The word economics comes from the Greek word ekonomia, which means managing the household. A core component of households is caring and caregiving. So now I will quote Riane Eisler from her excellent book called The Real Wealth of Nations. And she wrote that a radical reformulation of economics is needed. What we have now shows that the exclusion of care and caregiving from mainstream economic theory and practice has and continues to have terrible effects on people's quality of life and our own natural life support systems. She goes on to say, failing to include caregiving in economic models is totally inappropriate for the post-industrial economy, for the most important capital is what economists call human capital, which is essentially people. So my husband, Scott, and I listened to a podcast called Freakonomics. Anybody familiar with that one? Yeah. Stephen Dubner, highly recommend it. Freakonomics did a 3-part series on Adam Smith, 18th century author of the commonly referenced treatise, the book, The Wealth of Nations. Now, obviously, this is not a university lecture, so I'm not going to take a deep dive into Adam Smith. But I want to touch on something that podcast revealed. Apparently, Adam Smith used the term the invisible hand once. But his approach has been co-opted to mean the unseen forces that move the free market economy, and has been defined to convey that without intervention, all individuals in an economy will act in their own best self-interest. From that podcast, I actually learned that Adam Smith was a deep-hearted humanitarian. His goal was equality amongst people and the resources being utilized. His first book was called The Theory of Moral Sentiments. And Smith scholars say that that book was his primary work. And they argue that morality is not driven by some innate moral sense, but the need for approval from our peers. We behave to one another in ways that allow us to get along. But this does not stem from a rational calculation to gain personal advantage. It is driven instead by emotions. And the principle of these emotions is empathy. Of course, humanity didn't wait around for politicians and economists to develop policies of valuing caregiving. We've been doing that and have since that first healed femur bone. Yet much of political and economic world has not developed a rubric for it, and therefore it tends to get undervalued. Historically, caregiving has been considered woman's work, which has justified the undervaluing. But I am striving to move away from that nasty little paradigm. It is good and worthy work for us to benefit others. So it is up to us, because we are the creators of our culture. We are the designators of what is important, how we interpret things, how we value them, and the actions we take in their regard matters tremendously. Never doubt that our small but significant part in the grand web of existence is important. Know this in your heart. Care and caregiving is the most valuable asset of humanity. Looking out for and taking care of each other, doing the heavy lifting, managing something that's uncomfortable and messy and stinky, setting aside our wants and needs for now. These qualities and so much more have an inherent value of its own that cannot be monetized. Still, it is a currency, an energetic currency, a medium of exchange, if you will. Kindness, attention, gratitude, love, wishful thinking, touch, eye contact, hope, waiting, shared resources, shared humanity, these and more is the energetic currency of care and caregiving. It is an energetic relationship that we do with each other that is holy and whole, even when it is composed of broken things, fallible and imperfect, with struggles and tears. Still, it is precious and it is necessary. It is about relatedness and co-regulation. Humanity would cease to exist without it, like air. So what if we started every morning or ended every day with something like the metta prayer? It starts with ourselves. As Parker Palmer reminded us, self-care is a gift that we give others. So, may I be filled with loving kindness. And then we can include people we know and love. May my family and friends be well. And it is a spiritual practice to include people we don't like. May they be peaceful and at ease. And we sum it all up with, may all beings be whole. May we set our sights on mediums of exchange that are life-affirming. They are our most valuable currency, most holy, the most sacred thing we can do with each breath and with each choice. And imagine a paradigm shift riding that currency. May it be so. And let us sing for all that is our life.
Please join with me in reciting the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I invite us all to circle up again. Together, we don't need to hold hands because we're going to do something I call holding our hearts. So we do want to be in the circle as best we can. We put our hand over our own heart, and then we put our hand on the back, behind the heart, to the side of us. So I'm going to sweep in. Do you feel comfortable with that? Put that in my heart. And I'll pretend like I have my hand on the back of yours. So for our benediction, let us hold our hearts and each other's hearts as the tender, precious gift that it is. We are the creators of our culture, and we are the designators of what has value. So never doubt the importance of your breath and your choices and your actions. Blessed be this, and take it out into the world. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll move into breakout groups shortly.